Holy rapid fire world building, Batman! Tiki here, and I have been watching through each and every episode of Batman Beyond for the first time. Dragon, tell him why we're here.
Well, you see, folks, long ago I made a vow to educate Tiki in the ways of Batman the Animated Series, serving as his spirit guide to Gotham in a way. But that was the past, and we must now enter the Batman's future.
That's right, and tonight we are talking Season 3, Episode... Oh, God, I believe it is Episode... Yeah, hold on. Episode 7. The Call.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, The Call, Part 1. All right, so Dragon, I like this episode, certainly better than the last episode. I use the Holy because dropping a full-ass Justice League into this universe, like, without nary a mention of it this late into the series, it's certainly a choice. I will say, Dragon, I saw the twist coming from a mile away. I am definitely, like, the cliffhanger is definitely intriguing, especially with Bruce basically like signing off on it, like, do what needs to be done. That's definitely an intriguing place to end things off. I saw the actual villain reveal coming from pretty far away. Yeah, this is a pretty good episode, Dragon. I'm definitely curious about the background behind this. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, Dragon, but we have not gotten much, if any, mention of like an existing current active Justice League in this timeline, have we? I feel like this is coming out of kind of nowhere.
Well, you're right. They were not mentioned. There's a very good reason why they weren't mentioned.
Okay,
I have tons of background on this one.
Oh boy. All right, I'll strap in.
Okay, so
strap into my speeding monorail.
Good. So, this was directed by the great Butch Lukic, man behind episodes like April Moon and Spellbound. Also, kind of ran the ship on the Tomorrowverse DC direct video animated movies. Writer on this, so there's actually two pairs of writers on this. Okay, so we have kind of the story. Basically, the guys who came up with the initial idea. This is we have Paul Dini, the great Paul Dini. One of the few episodes that he wrote for Batman Beyond, which of course includes Out of the Past, which we talked about recently, which had knocked my socks off, and Rebirth, of course, the right out of the gates running. So along with Alan Burnett, the great and powerful Alan Burnett. Yeah, Bernie. Don't Bernie me.
Oh, God.
So, AB, baby.
Oh, God. You know what this episode did not have, though, Dragon, that I was kind of wondering if he was going to pop up?
Who?
We did not have DG. We did not get a DG appearance.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're not. I'm afraid not.
All right.
Anyway, yes. So AB here, he was the writer on Rebirth and Meltdown, two excellent episodes. Alan Burnett's kind of a secret weapon kind of writer. So they came up with the initial concept for this. Mainly Paul Dini and then Alan Burnett, of course, he had to get in on because it's like it's a really good episode, a really good premise. Like if Alan Burnett wants him. So the teleplay, the guys that kind of ran with it as well. You had Rich Fogel, who did admittedly Rich Fogel. Kind of the weaker of the writers for Batman Beyond, but he went other places. He did give us episodes like Heroes, which kind of gives us that was kind of the proto, kind of a vague outline for where we might go with the Justice League and Batman Beyond. And Eyewitness, which is like one of the best episodes he did. The big "We Killed Mad Stan" in quotes episode. Anyway, so Rich Fogel, he wanted to do Justice League. He was a big writer on Justice League. So this is kind of like where we're connecting those dots. Hilary J. Bader was the other writer. She did the teleplay with him. She did Meltdown. So again, we're connecting our dots here. We got two Meltdown writers on one episode. Hooray. Now, Tiki, I know I've dropped some bombshells. I'm gonna reveal a conspiracy you would never expect.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna blow the roof off this mystery. I want you to strap in, okay? Because I don't think you can handle. I don't think you have the constitution to handle this revelatory thing I'm about to tell you. Okay, the studio that brought this episode to life, that animated it, that shot lightning through the 9-month corpse of animation that then brought it to life for all of us to enjoy, was none other than Coco, with an undercurrent of Dong Yang.
Eep.
I know, folks. He's downplaying it, but it's a shock to his system.
Sure, let's go with that.
Look at him, be modest. Anyway, so yeah, you're probably wondering how do we get to this point? Well, as I kind of mentioned, season 3, we're pulling out some big guns here and there, like Ra's al Ghul.
Mhm.
And it's the thing is, they knew going into this season it was likely an end to the series. They didn't know for sure if it was. I mean, but essentially they reached the end of their number of episodes that were ordered once they got the full pickup after the 13 episodes. So because of that, they kind of knew, well, this is for all intents and purposes likely our last season. So we should probably try to do some big stuff. And then Paul Dini, basically it kind of started in a place of what if we did kind of like as an homage to World's Finest, which is the time in which it was at this point in time, Tiki, was the most they opened up the universe. That was like Batman, Superman meeting each other, and then Superman had little it kind of crossovers here and there in Superman the animated series.
Sure.
So there's basically, let's do a Beyond version of Batman Superman meeting. Let's check in with Superman Beyond. Then they kind of ran into a dead end story wise. Like, we can't top World's Finest. What are we doing? It's just going to be in the future, But we can't do like a 3-part episode. So then they kind of like Dini kind of like said, well, let's do the Justice League. And basically, he and Bruce Timm been talking around. A lot of people for ages at this point in time been saying, oh, when are you going to do Justice League? Because a lot of people are expecting Justice League after Superman, and they went to Batman Beyond.
Mm-hmm.
So there have been talks, and again, that gets into the most interesting part of this episode, Tiki. This episode's very retroactive. This is before a Justice League series exists.
I kind of figured that, yeah.
So,
Greg, can I ask what the airing date on this episode was?
Well, that's what I'm about to get to, Tiki.
Okay.
So this is almost exactly a year to when they aired, when Justice League happened. So this is like a year. This is like November of this is November of 2000, and Justice League is November of 2001. So now,
I got to tell you, they dodged a bullet with this being pre 9/11 with some of the imagery in the latter half of this episode. That was definitely going through my mind. That's why I asked.
Of course, yeah. So they have that in mind with this as well. So that's the thing.
People literally falling out of a fucking skyscraper that's leaning to the ground. Like, oh dear. Anyways,
so I can't pinpoint. Like, there were talks of Justice League. I don't know how how much they were circling Justice League, because they were working on. They did go from Batman Beyond to Justice League, so it was pretty much it was a pretty smooth transition. But I don't know if there was like some vague talks going on at this point, or literally it was like after they wrapped up Batman Beyond, like when they're setting up the next project. So that I can't tell you if all I know is they really didn't have a cohesive, they did not have the vision for Justice League. It was like conversations. It was still in development, heavily in development, because basically this would have been around the point of the infamous first mission pilot of Justice League. And that was this little, basically they, much like Batman Beyond, when they did Justice League, they got to go ahead of you don't need to sell us, just go on and do it. Give us a Justice League show, you maniacs, do it.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, they kind of thought, oh man, maybe we do have to kind of show them something. So they cobbled together this really makeshift, very, 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 very emphasis on the very rough version of Justice League, in like maybe a less than 5-minute short, like a promo essentially, that is not at all what you want a Justice League show to be. You get all the characters in there. It was very, again, it's a proof of concept, just to show we can do a Justice League show. But it was very rough, and looking at that compared to this, it would very much say that if they're only kind of they're gun to their head, they have to say, "What's your Justice League show?" Okay, let's just throw this there. I don't think they had Justice League fully formed when they were doing this, or like the lineup even when they were conceptualizing this. So they were basically Dini in toying around the Justice League. He just kind of
I
applied.
feel like the only thing they knew for sure is that they were probably going to have a Green Lantern in it.
Well, that's the thing. So in terms of how you get the lineup here, it's just Paul Dini applying logic to it. We're okay. Batman Beyond's 50 years in the future. At some point, we have to acknowledge, even if we haven't seen it, we have to acknowledge that he did have history with the Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
So in doing that, it's like, okay, if we're going to check in with a futuristic version of the Justice League, well, what are the archetypes that we're going? Well, clearly we need Superman. Green Lantern, the ring gets passed down, so we'd have a different kid. We like Hawkman, so we'll probably do a Beyond version of Hawkman. And then just kind of there's an Aquaman on the team. We set up Aquaman and Superman in the animated series, so we have kind of a go. We have a go for that one, and just everything else just kind of fell into place.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, that's about it. I think we're retroactively. One last thing is important.
Sure.
The name of basically the Beyond version of the Justice League is JLU, Justice League Unlimited. So if memory serves, Unlimited was not like like the extra letter that they've ever had in the history of Justice League. You've had Justice League, you've had JLA, you have JLI, never JLU. And in doing so, the reason for that, the reason I bring that up is that retroactively, as the show went on, Justice League went on, they kind of did a rebranding of it, and they called it Justice League Unlimited. So they don't have that title without this episode. So that was kind of like they're thinking, like, well, where do we go next? Well, I guess we're bridging into the future. So I guess in bridging into the future, we'll just give them Justice League Unlimited to rebrand, and I guess it just kind of stuck where they kind of like the name, and it separates it from like all the other Justice League stuff. So there you go.
All right,
let's do it.
Okay, so just to shout out some comments from Kogias here. He says, the thumbnail's pretty slick. You've got Superman checking out the Batman costume as if you were jealous that he never got to wear it.
I wanted a mask. Well, actually, wait a minute. He did wear that costume.
Yeah, you're right. He did.
Yes.
All right. This is something I'm assuming you were going to get to in the recap, but he says, I miss Tim Daly, but I think having Christopher McDonald go from voicing Jor-El to voicing the older Superman was a great idea. Yeah, I had to look up the voice actor, but definitely a cool connection there for sure. He also says he loves our DG joke. Happy to have running jokes that you're entertained by, Kogias, and I am still proud of our recent unfrosted debate. All right. Little Blue says even aliens can age. Indeed. Okay, Dragon, you're ready. Let's get right on to it.
Yes. Okay, so we start the episode in a very expository manner.
With the sound of loud cars revving up. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, we start the episode, like Dragon said, in an expository way where we're basically just setting up the fact that Metropolis exists, the fact that the Justice League exists, but we're also setting up the conflict here. Dragon, you want to take over here? Justice League Watchtower is being set up here. Okay.
Yeah. Dragon, so yeah,
I'm not doing a good job, Dragon. Please.
I hadn't noticed. So,
all right.
Yeah, so we have tourists visiting Metropolis. Big thing. We're in Metropolis for the first time. We see the Justice League Watchtower. This is kind of interesting. Where again, retroactively, because again they hadn't done the show yet. Justice League, you have two options. You have the Hall of Justice, and you have the Watchtower satellite. So they kind of met in the middle here for just like the proof of concept kind of first time of like, well, maybe it looks like the satellite, but it's like it's ground level.
Right.
Yeah, so basically we have like this couple. This couple's kind of funny. There's the whole thing. They're really just spelling it all out. They're like,
it's basically like exposition tourists. Yeah.
We're just tourists in Metropolis, and there's the Justice League Watchtower. Like, golly gee, wait till the fellas hear about this kind of stuff. All right, so we meet Micron. Micron, kind of an update on the Atom. So yeah, he's training with a really good spirited robot. Really team spirit kind of thing going on with this
I do
robot.
like how he's got like a rapport going on with the robot. That's kind of fun.
Yeah. Also, I love the idea that this is like going on like this small little box on like a desk,
Hmm.
which is even better. All right, so Micron here, he gets an alert. Basically, the conductor of this, basically a monorail train's, bound to crash. We see the conductor's about to jump for it. Micron arrives, saves him really awesomely, doing kind of some giant man shenanigans. Basically. See, to me, I always preferred. I always wish the way to differentiate the Atom and Ant Man is that I think the Atom should only shrink, but shrink better than Ant Man. That's how I
Mm.
think it should
Yeah,
go.
yeah, right,
Like he can
right.
go to like an atomic kind of thing, where that's always been my 2 cents on the Atom. I don't think the Atom should be able to grow, but I think technically he's done that in comics and stuff. So it's the point being, Micron here being his own character, he is able to basically go the full Ant Man, and Bruce Timm being a huge Kirby fan, I'm sure that helped. Okay, anyways, the point is he saves this guy and he goes to the train. I like his plan here. If I read it right, is that his plan was to derail the train into a. I think his initial plan is I'm going to derail the train so it doesn't crash into the other train. I'm going to grow to a size and catch the train. I think that's what his plan was. Either that, or kind of like what it ended up being, where he was supposed to exit the train and was going to crash into an abandoned building.
Uh-huh.
Either way, not a bad plan. I think the catch would have been cool, but again, sadly, that does not go Micron's way because when he tries to leave, there's a force field. And he doesn't have he doesn't have his dinosaur that eats force fields.
Is that really a thing? Oh my god.
Well, no. I mean, like it's Toy Story. Like my dinosaur.
Oh, okay, Dragon. I'm sorry. We're talking. When you're talking about Silver Age Justice League stuff, anything's possible, right?
That
I'm
is
sorry.
that is true. Okay. Anyway, so the point being, Micron he gets really banged up in this crash. It's a pretty impressive crash, though. This train crash.
Uh,
All right. Meanwhile, so again, like we go from Metropolis, and this is like an extended opening too. We don't get the opening credits of the episode or anything. This is our coda. This is our opening. And then we go to Gotham. We're in Gotham City. Go from Metropolis to Gotham. We have a chase with Ink, who, by the way, did not die.
yeah, I kind of noticed that.
Oh, we knew she wasn't. We saw her at the end. We knew she wasn't dead. But
I feel like Ink is maybe not one of my favorite villains as far as like the actual character goes. She's not really that deep, but I do really like her power set, though. I will say that much.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I always liked that Ink does hold a special place in the Batman Beyond rose because she was like Terry's first villain, not counting like his origin bad guy.
Right, exactly.
Like his first villain,
Yeah.
the one that challenged him most, and it's kind of like is like the recurring foe. And she also, again, it's the fact that she's there during this big milestone for him, where he's going to be interacting with the Justice League. We kind of bring him in there, so I don't know, it's fitting. So
A little bit of a full circle thing going on there with that, yeah.
So we don't know if Ink killed her daughter or not, but Ink she's
Oh God.
she's back to her saboteur jobs, and she stole this prototype battle pod, which Batman's in pursuit.
Mhm.
The terrorist organizations will pay a fortune for it. He fires his dampening device onto it. Got some nice banter between him and Old Man Wayne.
Mhm. Mhm.
Anyway, he goes down. Then we have this random guy, just some random guy, just walking.
Totally not anyone of any note, right?
Just completely this random guy in a futuristic poncho. He's waiting for it to rain. Look at him.
Just total fucking red shirt dragon. Total
like not
fucking red
even that.
shirt.
It's Bruce Willis from the Unbreakable franchise. There he is.
Oh my god! What if that was true? What if it actually the timeline would kind of match up? What if it was?
No, it wouldn't match up.
Yeah, that movie came out in 2000, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Well, yeah, in production. I mean, the show's set 50 years in the future, but
No, I know it'd be silly. All right, anyways, but you're right.
No, I see.
He does look vaguely David Dunn-esque, though.
I was saying, given David Dunn's costume is like as we see in like Glass, like the green poncho, so he's
And I still haven't forgiven Shyamalan for how he treated the character in Glass, but that's a different story.
Yeah, I don't care
how Shyamalan, really.
Yeah, I don't care how cool Sam Jackson is in that wheelchair. That's not going to save it. Anyway, so we have some guy watching. Batman gives chase. Ink. She takes this average Joe hostage. And Batman's trying to talk her down. So he says, "No, don't worry, Batman, I got this." And then the man suddenly spins into a tornado and basically sends ink like spattering all over the place, which is a really cool move.
Mm-hmm.
And we reveal it's Superman Beyond. So, what do you think of Superman's costume?
I really like it, Dragon. Honestly, you know what? Oh God, I kind of thought it might have been Nightwing from the thumbnail.
Tiki, you don't mean you do know Nightwing's alter ego, right?
Is DG
What's DG stand for?
Dick Grayson?
Good boy. All right.
Yeah, but I'm saying this guy, like, he looks old, but he doesn't look as old as Bruce Wayne. So that's kind of why I don't know. I think the costume's cool. I don't think it automatically screams Superman to me. That's basically what I was trying to say.
I do like that, kind of like Batman. He's kind of like it's like a thing with the future and the style. Like we saw, like they got rid of lapels in the future, and I guess with the superheroes, we got rid of the capes. Or no capes in the future. And again,
right, Greg, we got this person in the comments of Stella Maris. That doesn't have any relevance, right?
Not to me.
Okay, Stella, I'm giving you a warning. If I see anything else like that I assume it's like maybe a spam bot or something, gonna ban you. So just giving you a warning there.
Well, so again, so long as it just makes sure it's not Claude, okay, this time.
I don't think Stella Maris is Claude, Dragon. Something tells me that's not the case.
Well, I'm just saying like Claude or someone like.
Look, I'm just saying this goddess of peace thing. Like it's
all right. Well, don't feed the. That's not.
Well, look, I'm saying if it's anything vaguely sexual, I don't want it in my comments. So let's
not talk.
I've got an eye on it. If you're just trying to make a reference to something, by all means, spell out what you're trying to say, or they could very well be a bot. Anyways, Kogias says, Kogias says whoever was driving by was likely in a rush to get home to watch the stream. Bruce Willis could have been a good Lex Luthor. I don't know about that. Not every actor who has a bald head can be Lex Luthor. I think that's a little bit of a gimme there. Gogias also says Nightwing never being in the series was a mistake, and I kind of agree with that. All right, anyways, moving on.
Anyway. Okay, so yeah, Superman Beyond. Again, neat thing with the costume, we've abandoned the cape. So we're in the Batcave, have a little reunion of the world's finest. This is a nice moment here. They haven't seen each other in decades. And we have this guy. You seem to be holding up pretty well. It's like I could use some of your Kryptonian DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, and this is a nice line.
You'll outlive us all, old man.
Yeah, you'll outlive us all, Bruce. You're too stubborn to die. So as Kogia said earlier, so Chris McDonald is doing the voice of Superman. This is actually a really neat idea because it's like it's the voice of Superman's father from way back during the pilot of Superman the Animated Series.
Okay, now just to be clear, Dragon, his biological father, right? Not his non-biological father. Just to be clear.
Yeah.
Because when we're talking Superman, he has multiple father figures.
Well, this is the biological father.
All right.
Jor-El, this is the one that, so I think so. Remember it again. I think it's probably been forever since you've seen it, but yeah, the first episode of Superman Animated Series, basically they did in 3 acts. So Act 1 is all Krypton. And
no, I remember that.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So yeah, Chris McDonald did a really good job, and then he left an impact, and it was just kind of this logic of like, okay, well, I guess we could, he would be what Superman would grow into.
Makes sense. Yep.
Okay, let's see. So moving on from there, and it is kind of sad though that we never really got Tim Daly to return after Superman the Animated Series. But
as you know, I'm kind of I definitely think he's one of the better Superman voices that we've gotten in animation. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's true. But to be fair, we've had a lot of good ones too. I don't think we've necessarily had a miss of a Superman, but
we've not had a miss. But I think Daly is one of the definitive ones.
I will concur with that assessment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anyway. Okay, so why is Superman here? So Batman's just this is nice. There's Bruce Wayne already deducing like, okay, you're not here because of ink. Why are you really here? And he says basically he invites Terry to join the Justice League, hiding his real motive until Terry gets there.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, and again, Bruce Wayne calling out. He's not falling for this. Like he's suspicious. Calling out. I can't help but question the timing of all this with Micron. Going down. Basically to that, and I've watched him. His time has come, Bruce.
Now, of course, Dragon, I feel like this is where my experience watching shows like Invincible and The Boys kind of come into play, because it's like, okay, let's see, we got a superhero team. They need to replace a member. I don't know, Dragon. Correct me if I'm wrong, but more often than not, it seems like in this situation, there's usually treachery afoot.
Okay, so Tiki, you're not wrong, but it's kind of a
look. I'm not saying that it's obvious in the course of the episode. I'm just saying that, like, through my exposure to just genre tropes, I was able to kind of call it.
Well, I know. I'm just saying that it's like it's a contextual thing where, like, before the era of The Boys, it was a lot. I think it would be a little less callable.
No, I feel that. Yeah.
Of course, now it's unavoidable because now we're always suspicious of kind of our between Invincible and The Boys, we're always skeptical of kind of our Superman figures now.
I feel like evil Superman is kind of more in the pop culture lexicon than actual Superman, which is a shame, but it's kind of where we are right now.
And that's a thing too. You got to bear in mind. We'll talk about this more with the next episode. But again, Bruce Timm hates doing evil Superman, but so that's the thing. In the DCAU, as you kind of saw a little bit of with A Better World. DCAU is like one of the 3 times you can ever do evil Superman and actually get away with it and have it mean something,
Uh-huh.
Because that's the thing. This is the time where we actually looked into, like, we approach this in a very kind of thoughtful way of, like, when we do Justice League, we kind of talk about the implications for the first time and how Superman's kind of combating that. And, we kind of do stuff like this where it's like, again, it's Superman. But anyway. And then we have stuff like Red Sun, for example. You have Red Sun, you have that, and there's a third example too. I'm blanking on it at the moment, but you know what I mean. There's like right. I guess the Christ on Two Earths thing where you have like the crime syndicates. You have that. So those are kind of like examples of evil Superman. There's probably an actual third one I'm trying to think of. The point being, those are like the very few times you can do evil Superman and actually get away with it before it becomes commonplace. We're doing it all the time now.
Sure.
Okay. So, let's see. The point being, I love throughout this, by the way, and Will Friedle definitely had a really good time, like being able to.
I was gonna say, I think Will Friedle is kind of channeling, like he is very much channeling that raw, unstoppable energy, being in the same room as Superman. And Dragon, this is gonna lead to one of my silly fan theories, which obviously I know isn't true, but it's kind of almost the vibe I'm getting, is that as the series goes on, Terry is just slowly morphing more and more into raw, unstoppable Dragon.
It's a lot of fun. Anyway, so I love that Terry has this moment of, like, it's just really cute. Like, he's enjoying seeing the world's finest and actually seeing Batman, Superman's dynamic.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
To deal with Superman. He's like, "What are you smiling at?" He's like, nothing. Just like, he's so delightful. As him say, that's a Ron Stopper moment, right there.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so then Bruce says, "Well, it's not my decision to make," and he turns it over to Terry, and Terry's joining the Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Terry's in Metropolis. Another, we're taking him out of Gotham here.
Yeah, there's a lot of unconventional stuff we do with this episode for sure. I get like you kind of said, it's with them having a very limited number of episodes left. I get the feeling they're really wanting to try to explore all the stuff that they can.
Yep. So we're at the Watchtower, and Terry does not get a warm welcome.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so Justice League doesn't trust Batman, Big Barda, who, again, they for a couple of reasons, they didn't go with Wonder Woman. One, because, I think deep in their hearts, they were going to wait till the actual Justice League show they hope to make to actually use Wonder Woman. But
it's also a big character. You need to make sure you get the voice actor right on that. You know what I mean?
You don't want to do it willy-nilly.
Yeah.
The other thing, too, is that there might have been actually a legal thing, because in the a weird kind of like rights thing where I'm not saying like they necessarily wouldn't have had the rights to Wonder Woman, but it's I don't want to bore you with the whole bad embargo thing because I think I've told you about it before. It might have been a similar thing with Wonder Woman. If the Wonder Woman thing was in development, they couldn't pursue it, or there might have been this weird hang about Wonder Woman in animation where it kind of worked like the Hulk, where we couldn't give Wonder Woman a show, put her and stuff. So it was like it's a whole thing. The point being, they opted for Big Barda, who's from Apocalypse, great character, Kirby character, which definitely.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Dragon. Didn't Blinky 500 do a fan film about her?
Yeah, and it's wonderful.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, and I love that fan film too because like Big Barda, plus
really good
when
one.
She pops up in the DCAU, it's a lot of fun. Later on, when she pops up in Justice League, but that's the thing. Big Barda, she's a married woman. She has a great backstory. There's a lot there.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes in comic book things, marriage is like it's a no-fly zone. But in later years, we've been kind of combating that.
I mean, just ask Mephisto.
That's the thing, yeah. Okay, so Big Barda most vocal in her distrust of this new Batman. Superman argues like, well, Batman was a founding member, and then Warhawk's coming in saying, yeah, Batman was not this long-eared punk. So again, Warhawk nod to Hawkman, just kind of futurized. We have Cairo, the young Tibetan monk Green Lantern. Basically, the Tibetan monk eventually got the ring. It's unclear if that means Jon Stewart got killed off or he just retired. It's unclear. Could have been Kyle Rayner. He could have gotten killed, or again, just they changed the other. He could have retired. I mean, it's possible. We don't really see that with Green Lanterns, but it's possible. Anyway, so he's playing Peacemaker. Then we have Aquagirl, Marina. She respectfully agrees with the group, but she's nice. She's the nicest to him.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Superman has final say. He says Batman stays, and the reason for this is, Warhawk's like Warhawk gets all the good lines you can probably imagine. He's very, very much kind of like the thing of the group here. He's just kind of saying, "This is like out of my way, Junior. Hawks eat rodents like you for breakfast. Remember that."
This isn't the Incredible Hulk. This is just a Ken doll painted green.
God. All right, so Micron, we see Micron in the stasis chamber. Why don't you make a footnote of that?
Micron in the stasis chamber. Got it. Okay.
So Superman, the old Star Wars looking kind of back to tank.
Right.
So Superman reveals why he really needed Batman's help. He wants him to join the League, but he specifically wanted him now for a reason that the force field technology was basically something that could only be made by what they have at the Watchtower. So it's an inside job. It's sabotage from the inside. And he basically wants Batman, like, hey, Batman, you're having trouble making friends here. We want you to spy on them.
Right, exactly.
And we have a lot of kind of like tough, basically have the tough guy version of Ron Stoppel here of like, oh yeah, that's going to make you real popular.
And then I really like how Bruce is basically like, well, you made your bed, you got to lie in it.
Hey, I gave you a choice, kid. I mean, so Batman's looking over the files here, and we see them all like see the files on the screen while they're like training in the room. Barda, Warhawk, Green Lantern, Aquagirl, and Aquagirl kind of catches him in the moment here, but she's all friendly, saying, "Hey, you want to go for a swim?" No, thanks. I'm just trying to settle in.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so again, we see the monitors and everything. Everyone's training on the monitors. So Terry calls Bruce Wayne. So he voices the ethical issue that he's having, and this is a great difference between Terry and Bruce. Terry has an ethical issue with this. Bruce Wayne would not question it for a moment. He would absolutely do with his contingencies. He would absolutely.
He's the world's greatest detective, after all.
Yeah, he would look into these guys and check up on them. So so Terry has an issue investigating people that have saved the world, and he's kind of looked up to his whole life. And he's having a hard time believing there's a traitor in the midst. And Bruce Wayne just tells him his advice is like, keep digging.
Can you imagine what Terry's reaction to the Omni-Man thing would have been?
Oh, God.
Just straight up, just trauma.
Yeah. So let's see. So Aquagirl, her screen goes black. And then we have, like a Terry.
I'm going to count that, Dragon. I want to count that.
Okay, you want to count it.
I want to count it just because, like, I feel like anytime he says his name in concern in isolation, it should count.
Okay, well, in that case, it's 19.
All right. All right.
We're at 19. Okay, so Batman springs. This is a really nice little sequence here. Batman springs into action. Basically, sinisterly, the temperature has been raised, and she's going to be boiled alive in there. And
That's quite horrifying, just as far as like the subtext behind what's actually going on. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So basically, he tries using explosives on the door, doesn't budge. So he grabs Big Barda's Mega Rod. Basically it's what her main weapon of choice is from Apocalypse. Like every apocalyptic kind of like female fury gets like an iconic signature weapon. So that was hers.
Got it.
So she took it with her when she escaped. Anyway, so it's very durable. Batman just kind of swoops in, takes it, no time to explain, and he blasts through the door. And Big Bart is just on his case all throughout. It's like, what did you do to her? Like, what do you mean? What did I do?
Right. Like, yeah, sure, Barta. I totally did this when I was the one trying to save her. Yeah.
She's a fish girl, you dope. She's not gonna drown. That wasn't. Nah, you don't get it, Barta. However, they do kind of have his number here of like, why just use the intercom?
Mm.
Now, to be fair, had he used the intercom, I think the same result would have happened. Okay, it would have taken him time to like the answer and then run there anyway. I think it's the same difference.
I think at this point the league is basically like searching for reasons to be suspicious of him.
That's true.
They're all playing like a giant game of Among Us, and Terry is the only one who's not in on it.
Yep. All right, let's see. So, okay, the point being, Terry's feeling a little down on himself here that, he kind of screwed up with the intercom. She's kind of in med bay, I guess. Batman, Superman, they investigate kind of the tank and see what went wrong, what the sabotage was, and they confirm the suspicions here. There's a circuit on the bottom of the panel that was fused together. I like that. I like the clue that it's like all the circuits were fused together. How would one fuse that together?
Suspicious.
Also, great little detail. When Superman has it, he then crushes it so no one can get another really good look at it.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. No, I caught that right away, Dragon, and honestly, that to me was like the big tell, to tell you the truth.
He's using like the dramatic superhero thing to cover him there. Like, there's a traitor in our mix.
You know what that actually got honest to God reminded me of?
What?
You're going to hate this. I'm sorry, but that moment in All-Star Batman and Robin when Superman like crushes the container of milk with DG's picture on it, Dick Grayson age 12's picture on it. Anyways.
Okay. So Terry's been kind of sent on patrol here. He figures they want him out of their little clubhouse. And I love this so much. Bruce Wayne, he's talking to him while he's working on the car collection, but not just any car within the collection. He is working on my Batmobile. He's working on the Batman the Animated Series Batmobile, the original one. Isn't that great?
Well, I mean, I would like to think that he makes a point to make that one more pristine than any of the other ones. Like that one requires more TLC than any of the other ones.
Yeah. Oh god, I love it.
It's like his personal pet project.
I completely forgot until the rewatch because if you look, it's a little because the hood's up. It's a little hard to tell, and it's a little if you really pay attention, it's like the scale's off, but it's still really cool that it's there. It's like that's the car. It's like the original Batmobile.
I feel like throughout our entire dynamic with each other, Dragon, you care like you notice the scale stuff way more than I do. You've got way more of an eye for it than I do.
Yeah.
Also, can we just acknowledge Bruce Wayne with welder glasses on? Just a cool look.
Well, yeah, it harkens back to his Gray Ghost look from
right, yeah.
But you're right. It does look really good. And again, this is the kind of stuff that he doesn't really have. A lot of his old friends aren't around anymore, like Earl the mechanic or Alfred, to kind of help do stuff to the car. So he's doing himself. So I love this kind of nice little kind of like talk here over the phone. It's just like, are you I love how this is so kind of cute, like making friends. He's like Well, no, not really. Well, except for Aquagirl, I had to save her. I had to save her life first. And we have this great line from Bruce, like, "That's one way to make friends."
Yeah. Would you maybe Great Conroy material there?
I don't. I thought it was charming. I kind of like it.
It
Well,
was charming. I gotta tell you, Dragon, Bruce has some good stuff in this episode. I'm struggling to come up with an actual Great Conroy moment
the
there.
ending's
So.
kind of Great Conroy, though. The very end is kind of Great Conroy.
True. Okay.
So I don't know. The ending might actually be the Great Conroy. Anyway, so the JLU. So basically, there's an alert. The JL. There's a massive alert. All JLU are summoned to save people from basically this attack on the city, all these bombings and craziness. Which again, pre 9/11.
Right.
Now, this sequence is boarded by one of the greats, Adam Van Wyck. He made a name for himself in the DCAU and then other stuff. He basically is like the big, crazy action sequence guy. A lot of the sequence people might want to know. In Justice League: The New Frontier, which adapts the Darwin Cook story, the big battle with the center in the third act. That's Adam Van Wyck, like when Batman's in the plane and everything, like all that's like Adam Van Wyck's he's all about crazy action going on. Like everyone's like, oh god, I don't want to board that sequence. They give it to Adam Van Wyck.
Nice.
So he boarded all this crazy. This is like the first time they're doing like a Justice League style action sequence. Like this is the first time.
Pretty big occasion. Yeah.
And when they were doing Justice League, they were looking to this episode like, okay, this is the kind of stuff we want to adjust this, do something like this. We want to kind of capture what we had here. So we have all sorts of stuff going on here, like a cargo ship. Superman saves some people. Aquagirl, she's saving people who fell overboard with a giant whale.
I do really like the whale. And then we do. I apologize if I'm skipping ahead just a little bit, but I need to talk about the moment with the collapsing building dragon.
How great is the collapsing building animation?
It's fucking crazy, honestly. Like I said, the 9/11 imagery is palatable, and it's crazy to think that this was like 1 year before 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
But Dragon, what I really want to highlight though, the sound design of the people falling through the windows.
Yeah.
It's just chilly, man. You really feel the crunch on that glass breaking.
I love the scale of Superman. Like when he catches that building, the glass is gonna crack and everything. There's like
right.
Everyone logically would fall through the glass, but again, he can't stop it to save him, or else the building's gonna fall. So he has to trust his team to save everyone. That's awesome.
And of course, from a narrative point of view, it's also a good kind of distraction for Superman doing something incredibly heroic. He's definitely not up to no good.
Oh yeah.
All right.
So
I would say that's definitely the highlight of the whole episode right there, is that little set piece.
It's a great sequence. And we also have Green Lantern using like giant hands to stop the collapsing buildings. Like that's really cool too. Warhawk saving kids. That's I like that. Anyway, so then we have this bit where this building's on fire and they got everyone out. I love like the emergency vehicle trying to evac, and Warhawk has to catch the emergency vehicle as it catches fire. And there's still two people left on that roof who weren't able to get on that vehicle in time. So Batman saves them. When he saves them, we have like this nice little. This is kind of nice. So rarely do you get these moments with Batman where it's like you have like a guy like shaking his hand, the lady. It's like good on you, Terry. You've made it.
Right.
But you know what else? It also kind of shows the difference between Metropolis and Gotham. Gotham people are either scared out of their gourds, or they're gonna just like not pay it. It's gonna be like New York; they're not gonna pay it much mind.
Exactly.
But if it's Metropolis, it's like, oh, thank God! We love our heroes.
No, totally.
Thanks for stepping out of the shadows, Batman. You saved our bacon. Anyway, so that was nice, and Warhawk, Batman's kind of growing on him slowly. I see you're earning your keep here. I see you actually done something right. Okay, big moment. Warhawk. He just got this signal, an emergency call.
Suspicious.
Well, no, I meant that's the episode title. That's the call. So the episode's called The Call. That's the call.
Okay, now I feel dumb because I just assumed the call was like if Terry wanted to join the Justice
Well, I
League or
mean, look,
not.
that's the problem. Overall, I mean, that's why they, overall,
Yeah,
it's,
yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
saying like the actual, like the really cool, like the reason why it's the call.
Sure. Got it.
But I
And
mean, you're right. It's a call for.
of
It's the
course, that's
call.
going to make more sense, like in part 2 when we're
Mhm.
directly investigating said call.
So that's the thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
whole. Yeah. I mean, you're overall. It's called the call because like it's a call to action, a call to join the Justice League. But I'm saying like specific, the sinister part of the title, like the cool like epicness of it. Like that's the call where all went south.
Right.
All right. So Batman didn't get the call. Warhawk says it's just him. He's all macho. He says like, I don't need an amateur tagging along. I got this. And he tells him but Superman instructed Batman to stick with him.
Yep.
So he follows him. He follows him, and we see this inbound missile, almost like the climax of Avengers style. This inbound missile. I love that
Every
Terry's
time I see an inbound missile, I think of nothing but the Iron Giant, my friend. That is my go-to for inbound missiles.
Of course. It's a ballistic missile, Mansley.
Oh my god.
Wait. So we'll duck in cover. It's like
I'm sure I brought this up before, but I will never forget the feeling of sheer existential dread watching that movie for the first time, and like everyone just kind of coming to the solemn realization, like, yeah, this is it. Our lives are effectively about to end.
I just love to like the generals, the wonderful John Mahoney just explaining. So wait, you see me? We're going to wait here and die.
Right, exactly.
For our country. Now, of course, you're probably wondering why are we bringing up Iron Giant? Well, for a number of reasons, but also Chris McDonald's in that playing Mansley.
Is he really? Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Oh, come on, man. Yeah, he's Mansley. It's Chris McDonald.
Oh, that's great. That is an awesome connection then.
Yeah.
More Superman connections in that movie.
We got that. We got Superman. We have Chris McDonald, and we have Warner Brothers. It's all there. It's all coming together, kids.
Oh man! Now, if Warner Brothers could stop, like pimping out the Iron Giant for nostalgia, that would be nice.
Okay, now, admittedly, though, and you've seen this, just that multiverses like moment of like Iron Giant like flying up to Superman, like that's adorable.
Well, first of all, no, I have not seen it because I know that multiverses is basically just like essentially shovelware. I know enough to know that. Secondly, this is kind of what I'm talking about, Dragon. Even if he's not engaging in anything violent in that clip, I don't like the idea of the Iron Giant being in a fighting game.
Look, I'm just saying for like the little teaser trailer, all right? And he's all, it's like
I'm just saying the whole thing with the Iron Giant is that he doesn't want to be a weapon. Like, that's what Warner Brothers is consistently getting wrong with these new freaking appearances.
Well, no, you're right. I'm just saying in that moment, he got to meet his hero. It's the Iron Giant getting to meet Superman.
No, you're right. It's cool. I'm just saying, I do not sign off on the notion of him appearing in a fighting game. All right, that's all I'm saying.
Anyway, so where was I? All right, so inbound missile. I just love the Terry's like, oh whoa, like oh wow, that's inbound missile, and I'm heading right for it. That's not great. So Warhawks, he catches it essentially, armors up. He's gonna go in the full Iron Man here, or Iron Giant, I guess, more accurately.
It's kind of funny that both of the characters are Iron people that deal with the inbound missiles. It's kind of a thing.
I'm going to go as far as to say this. There had to have been a little bit of, just for Whedon, there had been a little bit of Iron Giant consideration for that class.
You would think so. You would think. I haven't really thought about it before, but yeah, that does make sense.
I was saying it's the big sacrificial move. He knows he's not coming back. It's like, I don't know. Obviously, they can't get away with Tony Stark saying.
I was going to say, can you imagine?
Yeah, Superman.
Oh my god, dude.
No, of course, no.
That would be so fucking
No,
funny.
here's what they would actually do, but thank goodness they didn't do this, or else they would have had no ending for Endgame. It would have been just like Iron Man flying up and just like
I
saying,
am Iron Man.
but in a hopeful way. I'm
right.
Iron Man.
But you're right. That would have totally knocked the wind out from Endgame. So yeah, thank God they
Yep.
didn't do that.
Yeah.
Oh
Anyway.
man. Right.
Okay, so anyway, so Warhawk he armors up and it's this cool little effect here where he he redirects it Iron Man style, but instantly blows up, and we have this amazing beat where the helmet just you think, oh man, Warhawk's dead, and it's like the helmet crashes into the windshield of the Batmobile. How awesome is that?
No, it's pretty dramatic. It really is. Yeah.
So
And I
Warhawk,
like how it's coming like right at the end of the episode, and so we know it's a two-parter, and so we're like, oh shit, okay, yeah, the stakes of that just got very real.
So Warhawk is dead, and Aquagirl's taking it hard, and everyone's getting yet again. Bard's like, "What did you do? What do you mean? What did I do?"
I feel like out of all of them, Barda's the one that is not giving him a break.
Yeah, she's very stubborn. That big Barda. So the accusation of what'd you do? So he explains the emergency call on the team frequency, which essentially means, by definition, means someone on the team had to have sent that distress beacon. So no one else got that call. Again, the call. No one else got the call.
Yes.
So it would seem he was lured by the traitor into this trap, much like Micron and Aquagirl were kind of lured into. So Superman tells Bart to back off, as basically back off, and as they're all pointing the finger at Batman there. He says, "Look, we find the bomber, we find Warhawk's killer." So we're back in the Batcave.
We finally get it's not a slideshow, but it's kind of slideshow-esque.
It's slideshow adjacent. It's adjacent.
Yeah.
Plus, he had to go all the way back.
Exactly. Now, going all the way back, that's really the key to a slideshow scene, I would say.
So anyway, plus they have to go from Metropolis to Gotham. So
exactly, right.
That's the fun part. And remember, right. It's a plane ride when you have to go from Metropolis to Gotham. Of course, in this case, kind of a Batmobile ride. Point B, it's this, they're looking over the footage, and this is great here. What do you expect to find? There's another good Conroy. There's a great Conroy contender. So what do you expect to find? If I knew that, I wouldn't be looking for it.
That is a good line, yeah.
All right, so Terry thinks there's like a timer on the bomb. Bruce Wayne freeze frames it. Again, love seeing the detective work here. He freeze frames the footage, and he goes back to the moment of impact, and he figures, like, let's run like spectral filters on this to see what kind of what might have detonated it. And they see it was detonated from a remote location, kind of like Grassy Knoll style.
Mm-hmm.
And we reveal almost like I guess like the multiple cameras on the Batmobile were able to kind of do like a 360 kind of Google Maps kind of effect here, where basically they reposition things to see this ray shooting it. So then they reveal shifted position. It's Superman. Superman is the traitor. Bum bum bum.
Oh my God! I never would have guessed.
Okay, but all considering, I mean, just plot wise, that's a
no. As far as the plot goes, it is definitely if I was watching this in the year 2000, I would be very surprised. I will say that much. It's oh my God, the guy who recruited him in the first place. It's almost like he had nefarious ulterior motives for recruiting him.
So context wise, I should tell you this again: pre-Justice League, okay, when we get the Justice League show. The last time we saw Superman was Legacy. And Legacy, the big thing there was like the first time we ever did a Superman gone rogue story. At least one that counted. Like the first time we did Evil Superman right, where Superman was mind controlled and he did something really bad. But it wasn't his fault, but he had to live through the fallout of people not trusting him anymore. So that's great. And that's kind of what's all the stuff that Zack Snyder should have kind of looked at, but he didn't. The point being, it is kind of interesting. it's Superman in a sinister light, and we're kind of doing it here. So again, it's kind of like that was the last note that we would have had with Superman. Now we're kind of like, yeah, that is kind of lingering in the air. We want to trust Superman. We like Superman, but yeah, there's an air of danger there that maybe Bruce hasn't quite forgotten.
Right, right.
All right, so Terry's he's going to go back and warn them, and then we have the big moment. Well, how do we? Oh, you're going to have to do more than that. So Bruce Wayne hits a button, and we open this secret vault behind all the costumes.
Now that is just like a badass, like, kind of like end game of the series type of moment right there.
I love the build up and everything for this.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like he hasn't seen Superman in decades, and behind the costume vault, this very important location in the Batcave, it parts ways. You see the cobwebs between it. It has been so long, and Bruce Wayne goes. It scans his biometrics to unlock it like a submarine key thing, and he tells Terry this isn't the first time Superman's gone rogue. Again, the ending of Superman the animated series. And again, retroactively in Justice League with the whole Justice Lords thing, it's been a recurring kind of thing. Batman has had a contingency for Superman. I've held on to this. I hope to never use it. So opens up the little lead box and we reveal a sliver of kryptonite. And I love how intimidating the green glow, and Terry's intimidated by this. Like, this is kryptonite.
And I just love the idea again, and I very much now sign off on this. Like, now that we've gotten to the point of the episode, this is absolutely the Great Conroy moment. No question. I love the idea that Bruce Wayne is like, yeah, you might have to kill him.
So this is very fascinating because, again, this is on one end of it. You have to imagine this is again pre-Justice League, where we really develop a lot more of the Batman Superman friendship, and I don't know how much of this is like, again, making it fit as I would attest it still fits, and I think a lot of people would try to make it fit. On one end of it, you can.
I mean, I think it's like the good version of what Snyder was trying to do with the whole, like, if there's even 1% of a chance that he turned rogue,
Well, it's this too. The thing that Snyder never really looked into, that this episode kind of circles around, and we'll see how it holds up on part 2. But it's the thing of like, Batman technically has an out for Superman. He technically does. Superman is not human.
That's true. That's true.
And that's the thing I wanted Snyder to, like, if Snyder, the way I really wish Snyder looked at it was that Batman had a career of not killing people. And the one time for the good of humanity to do one thing that matters in 20 years of like putting out fires, like one thing that would actually secure everyone's life potentially, and like paranoia about Superman. This guy goes rogue. I need to put him down. Like, if there's a 1% chance this guy could go rogue, and we've seen how dangerous he is, and technically he's not human, so I have kind of an out there. Like, that's the thing to explore. Now, looking at it here is a Batman who probably has gone through a lot with Superman, and again, still the lingering doubt is always there. And I think any way you look at it, again, factoring in a Justice League show or not, Bruce Wayne in his old age, as cynical as he's getting, while still standing by his vow and everything, this is like the special exception. This is like, again, the whole loophole of, well, he's not human, and we've seen firsthand the danger this guy's capable of. When he goes rogue, he almost took over the whole planet.
Exactly.
So there is an argument there, and Bruce isn't saying like outright like go to kill. He's saying if necessary, if it's the last resort. If it's like comes down, like, save him if you can. That's essentially what he's saying, and not so many words here. He's saying it might come down to this, and basically saying, like Terry's like intimidated. He says like this could kill him. He says like do whatever it takes, but make sure you stop him. It's like that's a big moment. This is a huge moment that could like, again, it's like a thing where Zack Snyder would go willy-nilly would say like, oh yeah, like this is happening, that's happening. Comics. This is like a big moment we're actually circling on. Okay, in the DCAU, this is like the first time Batman's kind of coming close to saying something like that. We're not going full tilt with it, but still,
especially when you consider how this series opens too. It's almost like a nice little bookend thematically.
Exactly. We've seen Batman come to the edge of that, and this is like him coming to the edge of it again, just to show you how serious this is. If Superman goes rogue, the whole planet's toast. So this is very serious, a very serious task that Bruce can't do himself, and he's tasking the Terry right now. So again, the crux of the episode is Terry kind of going through Batman's journey, in this case, joining the Justice League, which is kind of like a kind of an expansion. Also, Terry becoming Batman, having to go through similar hurdles. He's got to accept that Batman would have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
definitely a good setup for the second part for sure.
It's a good combo. I like that Terry's a little intimidated by this. I like that Terry's a little uncomfortable with this because, maybe he isn't. Maybe it shows kind of like, again, the optimism of Batman in his past to kind of the cynicism of Batman now.
Yep.
All
right, we got Wart Monarch in the comments really quick. They're saying, even though Bruce broke his friend's trust, he can't afford to let them run loose. It's either a few people or a billion. You know the rest.
Basically talking about the whole Tower of Babel, kind of like the contingencies.
Sure.
Kind of thing,
yeah. All right, well, final thoughts. I definitely think this was obviously a big improvement over the last episode. I don't want to give the last episode too much crap, but I would honestly say out of all the Batman Beyond two-parters we've gotten, we haven't gotten that many. This is like far and away the one where I am very much intrigued to see the conclusion and think that the two-parter was absolutely warranted. They could not have told this whole story in two parts, or in one part, I mean. So, yeah. Very much looking forward to the next one. Folks, we will be covering the next episode, just so y'all know. We will be covering it in just a couple days on Thursday. Y'all aren't going to have to wait a full week for us to get back to this. We're probably going to do that for the remaining two-parters that we have left. I know there's at least one more that we have left. So, all right, Dragon, final thoughts on your end?
Yeah, I mean the call's a great episode. It's one of the look. It's no Rebirth because nothing can ever top Rebirth. But Batman Beyond did very, very few two-parters. Memory serves, they only did 3 two-parters. We have the Rebirth, we have this, and we have one other one in season 3, which we'll get to.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all they're all very different. And this one, we'll see how part 2 holds up. But I mean, to my knowledge, I would still probably say the call, in retrospect, I think should have been our series finale.
Interesting.
At least, given what we have, if we had to put an episode from, again, now we'll get into this when we get to like the last episode of Batman Beyond, but let's just say with the episodes that we have provided in season 3, if I were to pick one to end out the season, it would probably be the call, because again, it takes Terry to kind of like the logical endpoint. It's a thing. If you look at the DCAU at this juncture, we had never seen the Justice League. It feels like kind of like a season to series ender. If they're going to luck into a series ending, it would be like, okay, the call kind of takes us to places we need to go. And I think with part 2, you'll see what I mean by that. So, but yeah, part 1 though, part 1's a great sell. I mean, I like the mystery component, and I think it's. I like the drama infused there, and it's kind of a nice it's a clever reintroduction of Superman. So I like it.
Okay. All right, take us out. Oh, also, I'll of course, big thanks to Code Geass, Wart Monarch, Little Blue popped up. You guys are all great. All right, take us out, Dragon.
Superman gone rogue. The Fortress of Solitude. A very special guest star from a James Gunn movie. Can the Justice League stop Superman's plan? Will Batman Beyond have to fight the Man of Tomorrow? Tune in next time to find out. Same animated bat time, same animated bat place.
On the next visit to Batcave Beyond with The Call, Part 2. Oh my god, I can't wait for Weasel to pop up.